Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. Now before I start with today's video, I wanted to take the time to say thank you so much for all of you with the support that you've given me with my Shelby video. I've received so many messages, comments, emails with advice and suggestions on how to go about this engine rebuild series, and I'm very grateful and I really do appreciate that. Now the GT350 engine rebuild will start very soon, but before that I have some things I need to take care of the Camaro that were pending. It's due for some maintenance, and I do have a track event at the end of November, which is the biggest track event of the year. It's Mondo, and I'm very excited. So I do need to have the Camaro ready for that, since I will be taking this car 2 days that weekend, so I'm looking forward. Now what's due for the Camaro are many things. So we need an oil change, a brake flush, a transmission, and differential oil change. It also has some parts that I need to install, so all of that needs to get done before then, which I'm very excited. But today we will be focusing on doing the oil change and a brake flush, and then everything else will be in a separate video. So if it isn't already obvious by the banner, today I will be using AMSOIL, and I am very happy to announce that I am sponsored by San Pedro Synthetics, and I'm so grateful for that because my cars are tracked and they go through so much more oil than just regular city driving. So if any of you are interested in getting AMSOIL, and not just oil but any AMSOIL products, please feel free to check out sanpedrosynthetics.com, because I know sometimes it can be a little bit difficult in getting AMSOIL because you have to get it through a distributor. If now you're out of luck and you just have to get it online. So if you're interested, just check out their site. I'll also have their link in the description as well. And I'm not just saying this because I'm sponsored. I've used AMSOIL since the beginning, since before I was sponsored, on all of my cars, and also the GTR. For those of you that watch my videos, you guys already know I just absolutely love AMSOIL. And another thing that I often get when I make these videos is, why AMSOIL and not other oils? And I'm just gonna tell you that there's tons of information out there online, on YouTube, just showing AMSOIL why it's just far superior than other oils. They've done so much testing, so just feel free to check that out. But either way, now we can get started with the video. So let's get this car raised and then let's start draining. Just finished draining the oil, so now we can get started with pouring the oil. But before that, yes, I am using these clamps in order to loosen the oil filter and to retighten it. And that's just because I really don't have that much hand grip in order to loosen up the oil filter and then retighten it. I mean, I can retighten it, but it'll still be a bit loose compared to like if someone else that has more hand strength than me. So that's the only reason I'm using that, but I am not doing it really tight, so no worries with that. But let me show you my little small toolbox that I recently just got. You have no idea how handy this is actually coming in, because usually I would have to be going to the toolbox, getting my tools, then coming right back, or in this case, if I have any oil, then I'll just have it on the floor and I'll just have to be pouring it and then just coming back down to the ground. So this is just coming in handy because I could just have all of my tools and just everything I need here, and I can just roll it around. I know that so many of you have been telling me to get something like this for such a long time now, and honestly I have no excuse as to why I didn't get it any sooner, but I'm really happy that I have it now. So now we can finally get started with pouring the oil. This time around I'm using racing oil instead of their signature series, and I'm also changing the weight to 1550 instead of the usual 040 that I use, just because this racing oil provides better temperature cooling and better temperature protection, and also just overall better protection for the engine, since I'll be taking it to the track and it'll just be performing at its highest. So usually I do use 040, but like I said before, since this is the biggest track event of the year, I'll be tracking the Camaro for 2 full days back to back. I'm just preparing it and I'll be using this. So now let's get started. Pretty simple, just pouring in the oil, and then I'll see you guys after. Just finished pouring in the new oil. I did leave half a quart left just because I always like, once I'm done, just to turn on the car, get it up to temp, and then just check the oil. And then after that, pouring in the last half. Now, one thing that you may have noticed with this racing oil is that the color is a little bit different. It's like a dark reddish or dark orange. So it's a lot different from usual oil, which is like a brownish. And that's just because this racing oil has a high concentration of zinc and phosphorus, which makes it such a great quality, well, better quality oil when it comes to just racing applications. So whether that be drag or at the track or just 24 hours of crazy street racing, whatever suits you. And another thing that I need to add is that if you still have cats, you may want to stay away from this oil just because it is recommended that you don't have catalytic converters when using this racing oil, because you can run the risk of damaging your catalytic converters. It's not 100%, but there is a possibility there. And I guess if you're listening to this, I just gave away one of the future modifications that I will be installing in the Camaro. So either way, now that we're done with this, let's clear up this table and let's get everything ready for the brake flush so we can get started. Now we're all ready to get this brake flush started. Now let me tell you that removing these wheels off of the Camaro with it being on the 2 posts is a lot easier. I don't know if it's gonna be quite as easy putting them back on, but I guess we'll see later. But either way, I'm using this power bleeder and I already have it connected to the master cylinder. This is the same one that I used on the Shelby and on the M3 once I did the brake flush for those 2 cars. The only difference with this is that the cap here at the top that goes on the master cylinder, for those 2 cars, it used a European styled one. For this one, it actually called for a GM specific one, so I did have to purchase that. And I'm also using this Motul 660.4 brake fluid, which is the same one that I used for the M3 and the Shelby as well. So now to get started with this, it does have 2 bleeding valves, so one on the outside and then also one on the inside. I'll be starting on the outside and then going to the inside, even though I read online that it really doesn't matter which order you go to. So as with every car, I will be starting from the furthest part from the master cylinder, which is the right rear, and then I'll make myself to the left rear, then the right front, and finish off at the left front. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Pepper Smith. He did send me in the set of these sleeved impact sockets, so thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That was very kind of him. But either way, let's go ahead and get started with this brake flush. So we are now done with the brake flush. I mean, it's pretty much straightforward and just uneventful. Now I still have this half a quart left of oil left, and I won't be putting this in today because I also won't be starting the car just because it is pretty late. So I won't be doing that. So tomorrow morning, I'll turn on the car and then I'll just check the oil, put in the rest, and then just check the brakes. And another thing is that I won't be putting the wheels back on simply because of 2 reasons. So the first one is because I need new tires, and I've had the tires already inside the house for a while now. Honestly, I was just waiting for my hand to heal before I started with these installation videos again. And the second reason is because I also have some suspension modifications in which I need to have both the front and the rear wheels off the car. So I'm just gonna leave the car ready for then so I can make that video. So until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.